So I thought the idea of objective was very critical. And I believe now you have started to see, other than pulling the objective that was financial in nature, the chairman, you have explained it very well, other ideas have also come up. Like we said, CAK registered a shared services platform. We are aware of it. We also have the Sacco Central, where I know we have even very many actors who are here. And now we have what we are referring to as KETSA, which is also thinking in the same direction. So who can be, how does KETSA get its money? That every member society shall hold at least 1,000 shares, each valued at, so what I am noting, and you will forgive me, is because part of the discussion I have here is before we had settled for so 1,000 shares worth 100 shillings. So that translates to how much? 100,000. How will it be governed? So going forward, so that I do not keep on changing, appreciate anytime we see it, it is KETSA. Okay? So the general meeting shall be consisted of elected delegates representing member Sacco societies within each member Sacco society, constituting maximum of 4 delegates. Each member Sacco shall submit in writing such number of delegates to represent the Sacco society in the KETSA general meeting, provided that, no, we have agreed, going forward, when you see this was the original thinking, but now the name is KETSA. So that is how the representation will look like. So composition of the board, it shall have 9 board members. And these 9 board members will borrow from the region. Now, at the point of registration, we didn't want to ask for exemption. You know, the law provides that for any board member, for any cooperative society, board members are 9. But in the event the institution has reason to have the membership grow more than 9, it can seek exemption. So at the point of registration, 9 was the desirable number. But as we move on, if you look at the unions we have, they have more than 9 board members. If you have to think of Cusco, it has more than 9 board members. So this is a space that can grow. Now, there was also discussion around, is it possible that other bodies may require to have board membership? So in the original thinking, we had even thought maybe there will be a representative of the commissioner, there will be a representative of treasury. But for the purposes of registration, we did not burden the bylaw with that. But it may get to that point in future where other entities, like we said, we might even find ourselves encroaching other jurisdiction, and we discover that that has been dropped. Now, this is a new institution. It is in its nugget days. It is an idea. Sitatu was asking whether public participation has happened. So you can see it is an institution that is being nurtured. You may want to guide how, or from the onset, the early days, how do we grow the institution and allow the conceptualization stages to proceed. And that is the time then you may start considering, can we allow the directors of KETSA to first of all run with the institution as they wait, as the institution builds structures The institution doesn't have an office. It will be hosted by KETSA. Doesn't have secretariat. It will be supported by the secretariat of KETSA. So in the interim, you may see the need during the breastfeeding for the institution to be supported by KETSA. Yes.
Thank you so very much. We are moving on well. Now that you are letting us know that KESU was the original idea, which has now transformed into KESECO.
Yes.
Is it also perhaps wise to put everything in tandem instead of talking about the general meeting and you are telling us about the delegates, to align it to read delegates meeting or annual delegates meeting instead of a general meeting?
Oh, okay. Now, in the bylaw, there is what we call the definition of terms. In the definition of terms, we have defined general meetings to refer to an assembly of delegates. So in its discussion, it is still okay. But it is true that KESECO will be a delegate system.
On that?
Yes.
Take me back one step.
I take you back to?
Where the composition of the delegates. Let's take back. If you cannot find it, you say there will be 4 from each society.
I want to read from the bylaw specifically, so that I am more clear. Okay. The general meeting of KESECO. Now this is the bylaw. Shall be constituted of the elected delegates representing member SACCO societies within each member SACCO society, consisting of, yes, it is one delegate. Each member SACCO shall submit in writing the name of one delegate to represent the SACCO society in the KESECO general meeting, provided that the name of the delegate shall be accompanied by duly signed board resolution. The delegate shall serve for a term of 3 years. Now this is in the bylaw, isn't it? It is in the bylaw. Yeah. So if we have 41, and maybe this is something that we could continue thinking through, because you can also do another policy, an electoral policy. If we have 21 societies, it means we will have 21 delegates. 21 delegates. Is the number good enough?
No.
Chairman?
Yes.
We are looking at the provision of the number of delegates. If it is 1 per society, if we have 21 members, it means we will have 21 delegates. Something has crossed my mind, whether that number is too small to be a good governance structure for the secondary cooperative. We could have, now I'm starting to think of what was the original idea. At one point we thought of 4.
You had 4. It's the same document.
No, this is the bio.
Okay.
This is a presentation. And the presentation is borrowing heavily from the journey, the thoughts.
In the
Yes.
presentation there are 4.
Where is the source of this Bible?
The source.
Was it made by the KETSA officials or the...
No, it was made by the participation of, it was made by the board and other participating individuals. My work was to guide through the formulation and to be in the promotion.
Excuse me, sir?
Yes.
I had a question. I think you can start with him.
Okay.
Mr. Nyoro, in the presentation that you're making, just before the composition of the board, they are the delegates, and you said 4. And my concern was, we come here when we are 5, we are going to make this decision when we are 5. Who are we dropping?
Yeah.
Out of this?
I like the question. Joyce, yeah?
the delegates.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
The way I understand the four levels down with the cooperatives engage themselves to, and we are trying to align ourselves by having this secondary institution. It means that if what we are seeing coming happens, KETSA and the secondary organization will not run two of them together, isn't it?
They will be in distinct institutions. Sacco will be having its own general meeting. Even if KETSA was to finish its general meeting in the morning, and then while that meeting and another meeting now is called proper in the afternoon, you are right to observe that they'll be having totally different meetings.
So at this point in where now we are giving birth to another new institution,
Yes.
I can see some little each because we are the owners of KETSA. I have to come up with the bylaw itself because of the other institutions. So it's here now I think we should decide how the number of delegates.
Yeah, I think that's an area we can.
You're now doing participation, public participation.
Yeah.
And I want to suggest that one delegate
is a small number.
Yeah, we need to have at least more delegates so that we can accommodate the owners. Not unless if the owners feel that they don't want to be appearing, as you are appearing, we get.
Yeah, this will not be difficult to review. Chairman, I have that feeling. And I think also, as the participants are saying, so that they also feel strongly that they gave birth to this baby, isn't it? Then they feel that it was born. You know, yesterday, because of the question that Sitati raised, somebody gave me a very interesting scenario and said that there was fire. There was fire in a room like this. It was a school. And so, the bodies were burned beyond recognition. So the fathers were called, the parents were called, so the fathers came. Then there were 70 bodies. Everybody was to do a DNA so that they get to know now so out of the 70 fathers who came, only 30 babies could be, 30 kids could be recognized. So what could you do? So a professor came and said, we have done round 1 of examination. Now we want to do round 2, but this round 2 we want to do with the maths. So you don't give results. You don't say why.
There's a question here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Madimo, I think there is no need of creating things. As we move, we close others outside.
Yes.
So we have been moving as 5 delegates. In the secondary cooperative, the delegates should remain 5.
Okay.
That is no argument. 2 is the number of board of directors. The cooperatives and the movement has been doing things which are very dangerous. All these stories of 9 directors like that, while the businesses have grown. And with me, my opinion is that we have institutions in this country with as many as 17 board of directors because of the business. You look into the SACCOs, as they were formed, the members were 5,000. Some of the SACCOs seated here have over 100,000 members. Why should the number of board of directors remain now?
Okay.
Then, with this issue now, my proposal is that in the bylaws. In the bylaws, we can say we shall have between 9 and 15 board of directors. What do we allow? Let me finish.
Yes, go ahead.
We allow, for example, the communication. Because as it grows, some of the board of directors of KETSA will be board of directors in the Sacco. Let's say 4, and then the others are elected by these delegates. And then the total comes to about 13 like that, and then we shall feel represented. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think let's deal with the issues one by one. So one of the things that is coming out strongly, Chairman, is the need to increase the number of delegates. And I think that we may not want to haggle so much so that it doesn't become the limiting factor.
Yeah, I think
Yes, Chair.
just a clarification on that.
Just a clarification so that we can be reading on the same. When we come here as 5, we would remember that CEOs do not have voting rights. Hello? Yes. Are we aware of that? Yes. CEOs will be coming, but we cannot capture the number 5 there because they don't come as delegates. The delegates as they should be captured is 4. Delegates are the ones who have a voting right. Are we together? Yes. So that is where the number 4 was coming in. But we recognize in our structure, and we are also appreciate that the government has recognized our structure to be very strong. As they went ahead to revitalize Cusco, they borrowed heavily from us, and that is why they created what in the technical team made up of CEOs. So we do know that what we are doing is correct, but now we cannot capture the delegate to be 2. When we come to the issue of the board of directors, in the first place, we know anything beyond 9 requires special exemption. When you are registering, surely you cannot register seeking for exemption. You ought to register and you are still wanting to, you have not demonstrated. Remember, this is not now the KETSA association. It's a new, to the eye of the law, is a totally new body. Sequentially. Let's move together. So that is the position. So when now you present yourself, how do you present yourself saying that I'm so big, I require exemption, and you have not been seen the strength in that platform. Number 3, what we are domiciling in this new society, cooperative, is our activity related with the person, which has not now been audited under that platform, so that you can now present the books to show this is our strength and this is why we require to be given this exemption. Surely, colleagues, let us look at the facts as they are and how you would argue your case. Wakati unajitetea, wakati unajitetea, and remember, tulikuwa tunajitetea while the bill is in the floor of Parliament. Today's date, it has not left that floor. Lakini we are able to maneuver and swim through and come out on the other side. Indeed, we need a clap. Give us a clap. This is not an unusual situation. And you are here, CS, PS, CS. Obalanya. And how? You are just at how? And at that point, Commissioner now had to be on our side because he is also in the receiving end. He is the one who was explaining how it was possible. You are here, these people have envisaged what is going ahead and we are sure, and they are giving us support and a background to push their MPs to ensure this law goes through. This is what they promised us, and then we believe in teachers and they are capable. And that is how I was confused. And he said, like, okay, you guys are ahead of me. So, in fact, it was not a walk in the park.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Now, I know we want to break 14. A number of things have been achieved, Chairman. Like one of the things that has come as a very strong proposal, which we also appreciate, is the need to grow the delegates to 4. No objection, isn't it?
No objection.
No objection. The place of the CEO is amended, and you will see it when you will be looking at how the union will also be advised. There will be a council. You will see structure. For me, what was very, very key is to appreciate why was this a good idea. And I want to believe up to this point that has been achieved. Stati, you look like you still want to say something. The posture you have assumed.
Now, you know, when the chairman said clap for us, I didn't clap.
Oh, okay.
Because of the word maneuver. You know, maneuver, when you interpret maneuver, it can be chini kwa chini, ama going the direct way. Because we are talking of the bill is in the parliament. It hasn't gone through. Here, we have maneuvered. I don't know how we maneuvered, and the commissioner was on our side. Who's going here? The commissioner was on their side. Where are they? So we are looking at this maneuver. Is it maneuvering in the right direction? Is it maneuvering when the bill goes through? And then we shall be the other side.
Yeah, no, I got you. And Chairman, before you respond, I can make a comment. You know, the only thing that can be considered to have been persuasion, and I did drop the word maneuver with persuasion, is the use of the term secondary. Otherwise, the registration of unions is already provided in the existing Act. Only that the term secondary is not what is used. But we have a sessional paper. You know, a sessional paper is a policy that has gone to Parliament, isn't it? And the sessional paper has already created what we are calling secondary cooperatives. So arising from that, it is persuasion allow us to use this word because it exists also in the national cooperative policy. So I don't want you to see it like we should change the process and then it was registered. Maybe Chairman, you can comment.
No, I never had a comment per se. I only wanted to engage in what you said. In our interpretation, is it for good or for bad? That should be now the answer. Is it for good or for bad?
I think in the lesson you have assumed
Yeah.
understand what you wanted to say.
Yes.
So, whether took your killing, not of it.
Asante.
Yeah, it's
The bossa, when you go to Kingereza, as my brother there is saying, if you go to the word hasra, what does it mean in English? It is negative. But now, when we come to our Kenyan context, what is it? It was a vehicle that led people to a certain destination. So when we are talking about these terms, our maneuver here, we were maneuvering it for the good. That is what we meant. Because the maneuver here is just at the point of registration. And nothing beyond the registration. We have not transacted. In the transacting, that is where now you can question about maneuver. But in the point of registration, good for us. And good for you. Ukitembea pale sasa na Januari, it will be good for you. And that is how we maneuver.
Then the other question is, are we collapsing KETSA to become a SACCO? And I thought those are important concerns to settle so that we are now reading from the same page. I want to give you a journey. When the regulator expressed discomfort with institutions putting money in unregulated entities, we started the journey of regulating KETSA. Chairman, allow me to give this story so that it is understood how we arrived at it. And we did a very good concept paper, and we engaged even the regulator trying to say, is it possible that you can extend jurisdiction by the virtue of the nature of business other than the form? And for me, I introduced concepts that we call substance of a form. For the accountants like John there, I know they have full appreciation of substance of a form. But when I looked at studies around substance of a form, I discovered it can also be a legal conversation. That says you cannot hide under a form if the substantive business you are doing is of a different nature. So we persuaded regulate the substance, not the form. But you could still see the discomfort. That is how the idea of KESECO was born. Up to that point we are together, and the idea was, how do you create comfort for all the stakeholders? And the stakeholders are the SACCO members and the regulators. Because the regulators feel, but you are in a form where we do not have jurisdiction. Those of us who know the history of institutions like KPCU, there's a time they had not done their general meetings for some time. And so the commissioner intervened. I said, but why are you intervening? We are a company. And they went to court. So they were hiding under something we call form. So because you are a company, it means you have no jurisdiction in this area. And so the comfort of all stakeholders is register, have an entity that is within our jurisdiction. And I think I have answered the basic question of why a secondary cooperative. The question that was raised by the director is, in the structures that are known, where are you? And we say, as much as the bill is not through, the national policy, the national cooperative policy, which is a sessional paper. A sessional paper means that the policy was done, taken to Parliament and approved, passed by Parliament, has given birth to the structure. So from a regulatory point of view, the cooperative, the secondary, the use of the term secondary has been provided for. So what was the mandate of KETSA? Now, if you look at the mandate of KETSA, there are approximately, these are the mandate of KETSA. Mandate number 1, to advocate for issues, interests, and challenges affecting the member SACCOs. Number 2, provide a forum where merger of teachers SACCOs into a larger body is promoted. C, provide means for cooperation among the committees of member SACCOs and to facilitate expression of their collective views. D, to participate in all matters calculated to lead the economic improvement of the members. E, to foster education and training. F, to establish and maintain funds by means of share capital, entrance fee, annual subscription, monthly contribution in now what is called the KETSA Central Fund, and levies, all from other sources approved by the association. That objective F is what is gaining a life of its own. It is now from there that you are putting that objective and registering a secondary cooperative to manage that objective. The union. That is how those other many objectives were also born. And there are many. Some of them, you possibly not even implement them in the 5th year or 6th year. You have started a journey. You have enabled an institution. You have allowed it to do as much as possible. And looking at where is the movement going. You know, if where we are seated, nobody is thinking for the movement, then I can assure you that the movement is not thinking. So the idea at the KETSA is, where do we want to take the cooperative movement? We want it to start having shared services. You have seen how KBA has supported the banks. That is the thinking. That we could have systems that work, processes that are unified, and that it will be possible even for us now to have, you know, when we talked about, what is this word of pro? To mean that you can share, you can exchange, you can even get into all-in Sacco ATM and withdraw money that you are from winners. Do you think that would be a good idea? So all this aspect, somebody has to keep thinking, how do we standardize processes? The challenge we are having now, even with those that are existing, is that nobody is dealing with the basic process, standardization, all those things. So that now you can say we can have shared services platform. So that is an idea that has been thought through. Now, how do you create a secretariat? So let's go there. This is in the Bible. We'll come back to this, but let me just answer this, then we'll come back to the committee and there's something we are calling Business and Technical Advisory Council. It is made up of the technical people. There are two levels of that. One is what we are referring to as the Business Advisory Council, composed of CEOs. And there is an idea that if a board of that society is in that, a board member has been elected as a board of a SACCO, then a CEO should come from a different society. And so that you democratize that space. Then there are also other people we are referring to as the Technical Advisory Council. And the Technical Advisory Council will be drawn from the project that is being undertaken. If you are doing ICT, then the Technical Advisory Council will be made of the ICT people. If you are doing product development, the Technical Advisory Council should be informed by that. So that brings the concept of how do you build the capacity of SACCO to run technical issues concerning business. So again, that has been taken care of in the bylaws. So who qualifies to be a board member? Must be a delegate of SACCO. Of course, that goes without saying, isn't it? The society must belong to KETSA. Maybe before I go further, you have also mentioned that why do you want to confine yourself to KETSA? Now, again, those who are thoughts. Do we open to everybody? Do we limit? And so the final answer was that charity begins at home. So before you even move out there, build systems, build structures, let it be successful, then that other idea of market expansion will possibly come. And then you even define how others will on board, isn't it? Many of the societies that are here understand the journey of opening the common goal. So how do you open the common goal at the end? At the entry level. And remember, when you are coming up with a new idea, you must also think like a warrior. How many enemies will you create? So you say reduce, the chairman wanted to talk about the two the two Macais. So now I'm also remembering a saying in my Arabic that says that inasemanga haigogagwi wakati inatokea. So you become strategic. You become strategic. Because you are leaders, I know you understand some of these comments I'm making. Yes, Director?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand number 1 and number 2 and number 3. Oh, I don't understand. Eligibility as a member of the board of directors, senior, she is not a delegate of SACCO.
You have my profession, Director. They are referring you, the statement starts with no person. No.
No person shall be eligible for membership of the board, SACCO, or remain a member of the board if.
It's not a delegate. Thank you. So, and all those other obvious issues, isn't it? And we even capped the age limit for board member of KETSA. And we borrowed from IRI, CBK, that the moment you hit 70, now you do not qualify to be a board member in those institutions. So that's how we arrived at age 70.
Action?
Yes.
Okay. My question is the clarity. We have understood about the Sacco. Because of the funds KETSA has.
Yes, thank you.
That needs to be regulated by SASRA.
Yes.
So that we may not lose. That one is very okay.
Very good.
Even the bylaws are okay.
Thank you.
But now when we come to the side of KETSA, should continue as our union. But then it should be clear where the funds to run KETSA will come from. One, and the roads. The roads are very clear as far what you have, advocacy,
yes,
like that. But now, where does KETSA get money from? Education and training, advocacy, and either subscription. Because now what we have been paying will go straight to the Sacco for regulation. But then it has to be there because it has done us good. International like that. So the sources of funds should be clearly stipulated for KETSA and then we move. Thank you.
Very good. And yes, I can't agree more that, KETSA has had a life. In fact, can we even say this? That the source of fund for KETSA has not been largely the central fund, because that is members' funds, isn't it? Other than the component of investment. These are the programs that you have been running the education. So KETSA on its own is sustainable as well. And so there is no invitation to do away with KETSA. That is not on the table. That is not on the table. You remember when we went for public participation, whether we should impeach the deputy governor. There are people who say, do I had the war? Then somebody said, but the only agenda that is before the table is what? Is one. So the agenda we have on the table is the formation of KETSA, which is the KETSA Teachers Cooperative Society. Yes, Daudi.
Sorry.
Okay, asante ndugu yangu mdogo. Nitanisame mimi sijui Kiingereza. Naongea Kiswahili. Rudi pale kwa zile shughuli za KETSA.
Okay.
Rudi juu kidogo. tulikuwa tunasema
Yes.
hii secondary SACCO inaundwa na primary SACCOs. Si sawa sawa?
Kabisa.
Ambapo tukiangalia KETSA ilikuwa imesonga mbele sana, kwa sababu kulingana na zile takwimu ulizotoa kibele ni kana kwamba sasa KETSA ilikuwa imemudu kukusanya kama vyama vya ushirika vya walimu takriban 47. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa imejipa tayari nafasi ya kuwa a secondary cooperative. Si sawa sawa bwana Nyoni?
Nakusikiza.
Na hapo tukiangalia BAP inasemaje Kiingereza hapo?
Wow. Provide a forum where merger of teacher SACCOs into larger body is promoted.
Sasa kile Kiingereza kichache ninachoelewa kusema larger body. Si hiyo secondary inaingia hapo kwa larger body. Sasa bibi swali ambalo nauliza tu la kimtaalamu ni kwamba wakati hii KETSA imepata hili wazo la kuunda hiyo secondary SACCO, kwa nini isihabe yote na shughuli zake ikawa secondary organization? Ni kitu gani kisheria kinapunguzia uwezo wa KETSA kuhama na mizigo yake yote hii mambo imeorodhesha hapo na kuenda ikawa secondary SACCO for teachers? Kiutaalamu na kisheria kuna makosa gani?
Nimekupata. Tuseme hivi, KETSA as an association is running well, isn't it? In fact, I like the way you have referred me to objective B of KETSA. Now, objective B of KETSA. What is the objective? Provide a forum where merger of teacher SACCOs into larger body is a perfect example of that phenomenon is KESECO. And it can still give birth. It can now even give birth to something big, because that is one of the reasons why you formed KETSA. In other words, you have not finished doing what KETSA was formed to do. Why would you want to write it up? Because of an objective F that can find a rival of its own. And you know, when we were doing the bill, I'll just give you a bit of how KETSA is very relevant. One of the main stakeholders who did a memorandum for the purposes of informing the bill was called KETSA. So when KETSA memorandum was not on the table, chairman alikuwa anapata masimu akiambiwa, how comes you are not speaking? Because you are the voice. You are the voice, you are a voice in the movement. So this idea, so KETSA is bigger than F. I hope you get me now. KETSA is bigger than F. It can still give birth to something else tomorrow, for as long as it facilitates efficiency, promotion of the member's interest in the sector. So I will not advise, na msema sasa ni Kiswahili kidogo chako.
Kiingereza naelewa, lakini sijui kukiongea.
Sasa umeniuliza kama mtaalamu. Basi kama mtaalamu nasema hakuna haja ya kufunja.
So thank you so very much. We want to confirm the following, Mr. Nyoro, and we are moving on very well.
Thank you.
That we are coming from the background where we understand, and in this forum, it is very good to be deliberate about this one. so that we create some distinction between an association and a union, or whatever you are calling the secondary cooperative. That's what we want to understand. Point number 2, we want to understand that KETSA as an association should remain, because it's able to stand on its own. And we also understand that KETSA, together now with KESACCO, KETSA can be used as a vehicle now to support KESACCO. That's what I'm understanding. I also want to understand that Objective F, having now been shifted from KETSA, has gotten life in KESACCO, because Objective F under KETSA, it was very difficult to regulate it under SACCO, and that's why the CEOs were getting problems when they are doing their math at the end of the year. That's what we understand. But I want us now to go to where you are at the leadership of KESACCO, because I want 2 things clarified there. Because if we are maintaining KETSA and we are giving a different outfit under KESACCO, this leadership, I want that you kindly display the leadership there. Because I want to critique and interrogate an item there. An item. No person shall be eligible if he does not come from a Sacco affiliated to KETSA. So I don't know, because our fears should be allied at this forum. Shall we have duplication of leadership? That perhaps those who are in leadership of KETSA are also the ones who are in leadership of KESACCO, as we want to understand very well in this forum. Whether we want to have duplication, and if we are having duplication, now where shall be the independence guaranteed that this leadership is able to be checked by this other leadership in this other level? So if I read that statement, where are we assured that we are not going to duplicate this leadership? And what is the independence of KESACCO alongside KETSA, or KETSA alongside KESACCO? That's what we want to read. Because that item should be very, very, very clear. Because my thinking was it was very good while we maintained one form of leadership in KETSA, perhaps the way we are, the 4 of us here plus the CEO, but we also get 4 other different delegates in KESACCO, very different from KETSA, but the CEOs should be cut across the board, such that now the new leadership in KESACCO can be checked by perhaps the leadership in KETSA, which is now a vehicle to promote KESACCO, and vice versa. So I don't know whether we shall be reading between the lines or what will happen. Because you see, in this forum, people expressed fear. Because we had an organization that has fallen. But you see, the government has also been impressed by the model of leadership under KETSA. Because they want to buy into this model, where we are having delegates who are now politicians, perhaps, being checked by the technical arm, the CEOs. And that's why KETSA has been able, perhaps, to survive and weather the storm. So we are reading in between the lines. Thank you.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. You know, sasa ningesema ukizie makofi itajulikana na kupendelea. But you know, you have helped me a lot, especially now that we have understood why KESACCO is coming. Now we are going out to the substantive issue. Chairman, you want to make a comment?
Maybe before.
Oh, before. Yeah. Yes.
Allow me to niongezee pale Director Ligo na my brother. Tumeona kwamba because of this mandate ya central fund, ndio kwa maana tunaenda direction ya KESACCO. So my question is, KESA iko na very technical people, CEOs pamoja na consultant kama wewe. Hatuwezi ku come up with a way where KESA, huyu KESACCO aweze kubebwa na KETSA ana the new name, badala ya kuleta sasa KETSA na KESECO, because experience has shown us that when the moment tumepitisha hii itakuwa sasa, unajua huyu mtoto amezaliwa juzi, ni lazima awe nurtured, alafu baadaye tena utakuja kusemekana kwamba hapo kumepungua kwa sababu tulikuwa tunakuza mtoto. So ndio mimi nilikuwa nasema with our own wisdom na the technical people we are blessed to have in KETSA, hatuwezi kunavigate hizi vitu mpaka hii mandate ya central finance ikabaki pale pale, because unajua sisi ni Wakenya, tukikubaliana kwamba zile pesa zetu ziko kwa KETSA tunazipeleka labda huku KESECO, itabidi sasa tena tuanze kukoruzana katika mambo ya uongozi na mwisho tutatoka out. So saa hizi KETSA imesimama vizuri, ndio ningeomba mimi tuge brainstorm tuone vipi tunaweza tukafix hii mambo ya central fund hapo bila kugawanyana hapo na pale. Thank you.
Very good. So I think now you can see now Chairman Injonitanga proper plenary. Having understood the concept, now we are discussing the structures. So Chairman, you want to make an observation?
Okay, thank you. I think the conversation is taking the correct shape because we are now able to distinguish that KETSA is an association, and an association does not sit directly with the cooperative, the ministry. Commissioner is also asked, when you sit with the Juguna, how do we navigate this so that we can be regulated? There is a problem. And so, anakaa kama ni mtoto wetu tunasema aliyekuja na juu ya kuni kwa the movement. Unajua kwa lugha ya kinyumbani kuna watoto tunasema alikuja juu ya kuni. Sasa tungetaka to put ourselves aligned properly, tuingie katika mtandao huo. But the space that we have been operating in, again, has given us a lot of field to operate bila kukwaruzwa. The commissioner cannot remind us in KETSA. So tutasimama na tumwambie kila kitu ambacho tunaonelea kinatusi. We go back to the background of bankers. All the banks operate independently, but they have got an association known as Kenya Bankers Association. Kenya Bankers Association is able to take care of their interests in the government. The central bank cannot reprimand Kenya Bankers Association. You get me? It is independent. It is a voice of the banks. So, Bank A may not raise up and say, haba unatufinya. Because, nikisema haba unatufinya, Central Bank can come directly to Bank A. But when the Kenya Bankers Association speaks, that body is above us. So, ni voice ya watu wote pamoja. And that is what KETSA is in its form. It is not a cooperative ministry, it's not at that ambit, but it is formed by cooperative societies. KESECO is now what we will present to the Ministry for Regulation through SACCO. That is it. Then from there, my brother Munene there has raised a very patent issue about the leadership and what he envisaged that leadership would go. True, that is what it should be. Only that, now this one we thought, we are now going to bring in policy formulations. We shall have election policy and put down clear boundaries on what the directions we shall make towards elections, and who will be where, when, how. Because this one is a general framework, which we may not now go to the nitty-gritties. Huyu mtoto ndio ameanza. And all these conversations, we will lay them bare on the table as we are doing today. We will continue developing these policies now that will insulate this baby from infiltration of bad practices in financial management that we have observed in other jurisdictions. We will want to insulate this to a point that it is not infiltrated, and that we will insulate it as leadership seated here. We will formulate these rules in broad daylight to guide this. Yeah? So these ones now will inform the policies that we shall develop in such a platform. And again, that is where public participation will come into form, because we will require every bit that we put into operation on this be placed there before the leadership here. We call ourselves, we come place here, we call facilitators like Nyoro and other peoples in the know, so that we take this on the correct trajectory. The monies in Cusco, in the KETSA, is not PESA, and it's not the money that run KETSA operations. Because that is what killed the other. When you put people's funds into running the institution. And this should not be mistaken. The monies that run our KETSA is the monies that we generate. Like yesterday, we had a workshop, where you members paid to participate. By the end of the day, there is a profit margin generated from that activity. That activity and many other activities that we run. We run allowing a profit margin, which now will go into running the operations of the association. And from it, we have even declared dividends, isn't it? From those funds that we kusanya kidogo from Moreover. We shall continue with that. Then this one will create its life of its own. It will be now be on lending and many other services that it will, we shall domicile there as business activities on that age. I think we should, I would beg that we now move towards doing that. Whatever we are doing is the broader framework for the purposes of legislation. Then we will not go down still, now breaking down every bit. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Chairman. Now, at that point, I have a feeling we have now understood the concept at the Sacco. We have appreciated it's a journey. It is a journey that can transform. If you looked at the objectives that were enlisted there, and when we were setting them up, we were agreeing, let's create an institution that can even do some things 6, 7 years, 10 years to come. But we give birth to those ideas at that moment.